Disclaimer: this work aspires to no particular religious faith or doctrine, or scientific theory. It is a creative dreaming within itself. Hopefully it will inspire the imagination of the reader. For Charlotte and Daly and Ben, and Oscar and all the dreaming children. And for Bernard who asked all the good questions. I want to tell you a story. A story about perky possums and flip-flop frogs. It's a story about slippery slitty snails, tall trees and willy wagtails. It's a story about absolutely everything. It's a story about stripy skins on zigzag zebras, about big-eyed hooty owls at night and dazzling daisies by day. Oh, and it's about people too, you and me. It might be a true story or it might be just pretend. Maybe I heard it somewhere or maybe I just dreamed it up one night. Anyway, this is how the story goes. Trip trap, chip chat. Once upon a time, a very, very long time ago, there were no kangaroos, no ducks, no rivers, no mountains, no trees. Can you just imagine that? There was just nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, that's how the story goes. There were no lions and elephants, no beaches with sand to play in, no people, no you and me, no buses and trains to ride, no birds to sing us awake in the morning. There was just nothing, not one single thing, nothing, that is, except a big fat dream. Now that old dream just floated around in a big shiny bubble, sleeping and snoring away, pushing up lots of zzzzzzzzzzzzzzzzz's. On and on it slept and dreamed. So really, the story begins like this. Once upon a time, there was only the dream. That's all there was. Zilch, nothing else, just the dream. Just the dream being its big shiny bubble self, floating around and snoring. It might be a true story or it might be just pretend. Anyway, this is how the story goes. One day, or was it one night, or one morning? Well, anyway, the dream woke up ... and it was tired of being a bubble. So it started to think of things. It dreamed up things like spots and stripes and creatures to wear them. Yes. It dreamed of sunshiny mornings and bees buzzing in daisies. Bzzzzzzzzzzzzzzzzzzz. And it dreamed of cupcakes with cherries and people to eat them. Yum! It dreamed of hooty owls in a starry night sky. Hoo-hoo! And it dreamed of airplanes zooming up into a sunny blue day. RMMMMMM. So the big fat dream was dreaming up so many things. In fact, it dreamed up so many things that it started to be curious. What would it be like to be a sparkle of sunlight on the water? Zing! And what would it be like to be a rock in a stream and feel the water exhale splashing over it? What would it be like to be a big pink fish snapping at a dragonfly? So the big fat dream was wondering what it would be like to be all these real things and not just a big fat dream. Okay. And so the big fat dream began to have wishes, so many wishes. The dream imagined that it could be a caterpillar gobbling up a leaf. Crunch, crunch, munch, munch, lunch, lunch. And it wished for that caterpillar to turn itself into a gorgeous creature flying on colored wings. How cool would that be? The big fat dream started to wish for big fat things with the biggest fattest wishing it could do. To tell you the truth, it went a bit wild. It dreamed up a big fat donut with a wonderful song coming out of it. Uh-oh. Guess what happened then? KBOOM. Suddenly there was a mighty explosion. It was so loud that the dream really woke up this time. Little balls of every colored whirled and swirled into a donut. Well, as you can just imagine, the big fat dream became very excited. I'm a donut. I'm a donut. The real live donut. Out of the donut came a big fat satisfied sigh on one big long a a a a a a a a a a a a h h. I'm singing. I'm a big fat dream and I'm a big fat donut, and I am singing. Now this is a strange story, and so strange things happen. Well, just at that very second the sound began to hit the air. The little colored balls jiggled and wriggled with joy. What happened then? So well, it just kept on humming. Note. Something must have happened. So well, these things take a long time. Anyway, as the story goes, the dream was having a chat to itself. What about all those things I used to dream of being? What about some roaring lions and curly tigers and long necks on giraffes? What about stripes and spots, and creatures to wear them? And maybe some fish to swim in the sea? I'd like to be a fish. And what about those sunshiny suns and twinkly stars, and moonshiny moons? Suddenly the hum became a song. Before you could say by gosh, gee willikers, the big fat dream was singing about giraffes and zebras, butterflies and kangaroos, crabs and stars, whales and moons, suns and rainbows. That dream was bopping along, singing the song about absolutely everything. And then what happened? Well, then there was magic. That donut just went crazy and made itself ginormous. The little colored balls burst out into space everywhere. A little red ball exploded into a bright fiery sun ... bush. Just like that. A little green ball grew into a glowing moon. A little yellow ball sparkled into a twinkling star. Yes. Just like that. Every ball of every color filled the sky with stars and planets and suns and moons, just as the dream had wished them. And so it was for a very 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 long time ... until ... thought the dream. I'm still not a willy wagtail, or a walrus, or a kangaroo. I'm still not a zebra or a buzzy bee. I'm still not a doggy running on the beach. I'm still not a whale whacking my tail. I'm still not a plane or a train. I'm not the river or the rain. And then, at that very moment, the lovely blue ball came floating by. Oh my, what is this I spy? At the very sight of the blue ball, music filled up inside the dream and came pouring out in the beautiful sweet song about everything that the dream wished to be. The whirling blue ball twirled and danced with the song of the dream. All that happiness made things happen. Some fluffy clouds appeared from nowhere, and then big fat drops of rain began to flip-flop splatter. Before you could say splashes, galoshes, there was water, water everywhere. Of course, it really took a lot longer to do all that, but we like to make the story exciting. Anyway, suddenly there were things, and the things were real. There were zippy zebras wearing stripy coats, whopping great walruses lolling on rocks, and kangaroos bounding through the bush. KPOW. Up out of the water popped the land, with grass and rocks and trees, and sandy beaches all along. And that's not all. There were scowling owls hooting to the stars. Tohit, tohoo. There were slimy snails making silent trails. And yes, there were cupcakes with cherries. Scrummy yum yum. There were airplanes zooming across the sky. And there were people like you and me, dancing and singing and working and laughing. There were caterpillars and flutterbee butterflies, and the wildest fattest rainbow ever. There was simply everything that the big fat dream had ever wished it could be. I'm anything that I dream I can be. The dream was so happy that it decided to dream up wonderful things forever. I'm a frog and a skink and a tweedledee. So that's the story of the big fat dream. Maybe, just maybe, you might have some dreams too, and wish for a good thing and have it come true. Can you just imagine that? Page 30. The Never End. With thanks for our wonderful world.